No, it's less than an hour, isn't it? Oh my goodness, I don't think we're going to make it. And I tend to talk a little fast. Am I talking too fast? Yes? Oh, sorry. Well, you all feel free to slow me down. I know Brother Bradley slowed me down once, and you just feel free. Because if I get way out ahead of you and you've missed half of what I've said, then that's just not fair to you. So I don't really mind you asking me to stop or to repeat something. Yes.
I was speaking with Ryan, but foretelling and forecasting. And we were trying to distinguish, like, over here. A lot of times you have people who come, who prophesy to you, who tell you what thus says the Lord. What do you think about that?
Well, I mentioned that probably before you came in, so I'll say it again. I do believe in all of the spiritual gifts, but I also believe that this is the completed Word of God. God has given us His Word, and it is complete. And if someone says, I have a word from the Lord for you, aside from the fact that I'm a natural-born skeptic, I would not want to be accused of not listening to the Lord. But I also know that it should agree with what's in here. And if it's a word for me from the Lord, then it might be a specific application of a truth here. But Solomon himself said there's nothing new under the sun. So if somebody says to you that they have a new truth that nobody else has ever had before, you've ought to be suspect of that right away. Okay? Suspect. Yes, Rose.
Prophets per se today, and if the prophet they prophesy to you saying, "Oh, this is the Lord," is something that they want for you and hoping that God backs them up with it. So
Well, I'm certain in some cases that's true. There is a lot of charlatanism in the church today. Do you know what I mean by that? There are a lot of schemes to make money. And leave it to people to make a money-making business out of God's religion. You must be discerning, people. You must know the Word of God. And you must discern the spirits. Because everybody who says, I'm speaking for the Lord, isn't necessarily speaking for the Lord. There are accounts in the Old Testament, in the Chronicles and Kings, where Ahab we have this picture of Ahab about to go to battle, and then the heaven is opened up for us, and you see spirits talking, and one of them says, God says, who will go and entice Ahab to fall? And a spirit comes forward and it says, I will do it. I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. You remember that account? So everybody who says, and as that account unfolded, Micaiah is called and he says, don't you dare go. And somebody slugs him and says, how did the Spirit get from you to me, or me to you? And then the false prophet said, go. God's delivered them into your hand. What happens? Ahab gets killed in the battle. It was a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophets. Now, remember, these were not godly prophets. These were Ahab's prophets. So, be a discerner of spirits, like, is it Kevin? Okay, Kevin says, foretelling and forthtelling. This I'm going to take a bold leap here and say this. I believe this has ceased. I'm sorry. Ooh, wrong one. Wrong one. This one has ceased. The foretelling of the future in the same way that it's done in this book. Now, you know what? If you're a wise person and you know the Word of God and you know people, you can observe behavior and foretell the future as to what's going to happen if somebody keeps acting the way they're acting. You know, that's not what I'm talking about, though. This is a unique side of the prophetic literature. This is the expression of prophecy in the church today. When you preach the Word of God exactly the way it is here, and you expound it and you apply it in the lives of the people, you are forthtelling the truth of God. And in a sense, that is the New Testament use of the word prophecy. We prophesy that way. We prophesy by telling the truth. If I'm indulging in a certain sin and I don't necessarily recognize that, and Brother Bradley comes up to me as a brother and he says, I'm not sure if you recognize this or not, but what you're doing is sin. That is a word of prophecy. It is a forthtelling of the truth. Do you see that? That is the biblical use of the gift of prophecy, the New Testament use. A word of knowledge is different. There are people that have a special sense that this is not a class on spiritual gifts, and I don't want to get too deeply in this.
No, because I like every TV, CBN, like they always, not TBNs, they always talk about this word of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm receiving word of knowledge. That
Angel channel that.
No, comes on 3 to 4 on CBN, Christian Broadcasting with Pat Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they always talk about this word of knowledge, and they're receiving this word of knowledge, and they say the name of the person and where they are. And
But you know, that's pretty, okay, here I am, I'm a natural born skeptic, okay? But that's really easy to do when you're on TV, because there's no way to verify what you're saying.
and then they say people.
What is the mark of a biblical prophet? It comes true, and it's verifiable. If you say that, well, you know, I'm sensing there's a person named John, and he's got a pain in his right shoulder, and it's just now left.
What I'm saying is, they say
Okay.
people come down, they call in, and they verify that they were healed when you said that.
Let me just say, I believe God heals people. I do. Do I believe that He heals them because a TV preacher said they should be healed? Probably. I don't believe that. I think it could happen that way. But I'm not so gullible to think that everything they say is true. That's just me. And Ryan wants to weigh in here.
I want to stir your pot a little bit more here because
Oh, great, thanks.
we get a little bit more narrow to one of the issues I see in this culture, and you've seen these television shows, right?
Oh, yeah.
There are an abundance of prophecy taking the spiritual gifts to a place they don't belong all over our televisions down here. I would like to know from your perspective, what is a biblical response to these shows? To these guys that are saying things like that?
You're not going to like my answer.
Even in the revivals, you have a lot of people in the revivals. It's the same thing, and if you don't go and if you don't get a word, like you feel upset because you're sitting in the audience. Like, no, seriously,
That's right. That's right.
You